Amen, I say to you, unless you be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Hello and welcome to the Will It Send Me to Hell podcast, the only good Catholic podcast. My name is Dalton, and
That might be the first time you said something that's true.
joining me here today, actually not here today, but who is it? Who are you?
Me, I am Michael, here once again, but as you said, not here. I have caught the coronavirus, and so I am here off location. On location? Am I technically on location?
You're off location. Well, in all reality, we're probably going to use my copy of this. So yeah, you are.
Oh, I'm off
remote.
location.
Off location.
Yeah. I'm actually fine, and neither one of us is worried about coronavirus in any way. But Dalton doesn't get if he got coronavirus, he would have to not go to work, and he would not get paid for that.
Yeah, and my family would starve.
Yeah, that sucks. I just took my PTO, so I actually got paid for all of last week.
Oh, you just used your PTO?
Mm-hmm.
Man, you get PTO?
Yeah, my boss asked me hey, are you feeling all right? He asked me that Monday, and I said no. And he said, even though debatable, I didn't want to go to work, but he's like, do you want to use your PTO? And I'm like, yeah, use all of it.
Oh, okay. Aren't you getting married? Don't you need to use that time for that kind of thing, or?
Well, I'm gonna quit right before, and then yeah. So,
that's what I did when I got married. I just fucking quit my job.
I'm just gonna quit my job right before, and then right after, I'm going to Alaska to make money doing that. So.
Wow, sounds like you're copying me.
It's the one thing in my entire life that you have not copied me, and it is instead the opposite. So yes.
This is so bizarre doing this not in person.
I don't even feel like we're doing I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know weird. Everything about this feels so strange. Am I having a phone interview for my new job? Am I about to have a racial diatribe / debate with some guy online?
Yes.
This doesn't jive in my mind. My mind doesn't know what's going on.
I'm in to avoid baby sound. I'm actually upstairs in the room that will be the babies once we finish fixing it up. I'm just sitting on the floor.
I like the idea at first. You said baby sound. Obviously you mean you don't want your baby in the background, but yeah. I just like the idea that you're in I'm in my professional studio here so that we don't get any baby sound. we need big boy sound here, so I'm trying to avoid baby sound.
So I'm up here in my son's room on the floor, drinking Jameson straight out of the bottle, and
nice, dude.
With my microphone on a child's chair and my pop filter affixed to that.
I can beat that. I'm literally in a closet with a green sheet across the doorway, sitting here on a fold-out chair. My computer's on a fold-out table, and I'm drinking a coconut LaCroix.
This is what we call living the dream, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. Yes, I'm feeling great.
What is the show about, by the way? For new listeners, what is the show about? Can you explain?
For some reason, I feel like when we're not in the same place, this is the most relaxed show I've ever done.
It really is. There's no pressure. There's no your blue eyes staring at me. We're just oh fuck, what am I gonna say? Michael's looking at me.
Yeah, so this show, this is a Catholic Zoomer show where we review different media, movies, TV shows, anime, video games. We actually have a video game coming up soon, but just anything. And we're not just reviewing the show is it good? We're not just reviewing it is it appropriate for kids to watch or something a lot of people sort of do. We're looking at important deep themes, and most importantly, will it send you to hell?
What's
the morality?
What is the moral value of the media that we're consuming?
Yeah, the moral value, what are the messages?
The risks?
The risks. Yeah, a lot about the risks. Exactly. Speaking of risks, we anime movie today, right?
Yes, we watched, debatably anime. We watched Miyazaki's masterpiece, Spirited Away.
Oh, I guess I know what you say, how you feel about it, but I'll just say real quick, I want to point out, this is a little bit of news. I don't know if you've noticed this. I take that back. You've certainly not noticed this, but there are 3 or 4 currently airing anime shows today about like a man dying or like being reincarnated into a new world in which he is a woman. Just we're talking risks. I just want to point out that this is a trend now. So worrisome is all I wanted to say there.
Yeah, I think we've done a lot of anime on this show. I kind of low key. I kind of want to tone down the amount of anime that we do because most anime, yeah, it's gross. It's gross. Oh, anime's gross.
It depends on what you watch. I mean, it's like
Well, yeah,
like
I mean, some of it is good. That's true, but a lot of it is gross.
yeah, a lot of the popular stuff also is. I mean, we just finished. Me and my fiance just finished watching Death Note. There's like, even though it's about a man like indiscriminately murdering people. Well, actually, I guess discriminately murdering people. It's like the least gross anime I've ever seen, and it was like, oh, this is really nice.
And
anyway,
I'm kind of hesitant to call Spirited Away anime. That is
literally just you having a preconceived dislike for anime, but you like this movie. There is seriously no other reason not to call this anime. It is extremely anime.
Is the only requirement? Now I might be wrong about this. Is the only requirement for something to be anime is it is animated and made by Japanese people? Is that
it? That is a like high octane controversial topic that you could talk about all day, but let me give you a simplified answer that people will get mad at me about. The answer is yes. Anime is literally just the Japanese word for animation. In Japan, they would call fucking Lion King anime. But since anywhere else it's the Japanese word for animation, it refers to Japanese animation.
Okay,
but even if it didn't, because some people think about anime as a style as well, Spirited Away is also that style.
But
so,
I've seen stuff that's more
100%. No, okay, it's like it's very anime.
I'm just trying to say that all anime is bad, but I like Spirited Away. So
that's all you're trying to. Yeah. I'm having the reasonable opinion of like there is obviously some anime that's good. You don't want to say that, so you want to somehow say that Spirited Away is not anime. But like Dalton, it is the second best-selling anime film of all time. It is iconic. Like it is what people think of when they think anime.
Well, if anime does just mean it's animated in Japan, then all right, then it is. I cannot argue that it's anime.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Some people for a while started to try and use the term Japanimation.
I like that one.
You like that one? Oh, you should bring it back then.
I should.
That's a real callback.
You could shorten it to Japan. What did you think? What did you think of Spirited?
What did I think of the movie Spirited Away?
What did you think of Spirited? What was it, 2001, 2002? I forgot.
I think 2001. I believe right around there. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? Like, I saw this years ago. We actually watched it in school. Who knows why? Right up there with
school.
Right after watching episode 1 of Star Wars for the 10th time.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Spirited Away, and honestly, it's really weird watching it again, because when I watched it before, I remember thinking, because everyone says like this is a great introduction to anime because it's just like a Disney film, right? Who ever said that? I don't understand, and I thought that myself too. I don't know why I internalized that. Watching this again, it's like this is a really weird fucking movie. And the plot line is like mostly nonsensical. Like the best comparison to a Disney movie would be Alice in Wonderland. But like it's bonkers actually. And the more I think about it, the more I actually really like it. But when it ended, I was just kind of like, man, that movie looked really nice and I like the aesthetic of it, but like what the fuck am I supposed to take away from this? Like what did I just watch? Was my reaction.
All right, I'll tell you what you should take away from it.
What? Okay.
So it's weird.
That was quick.
It's weird that this would be like an intro to anime, because it's like it's like an intro to fast food being you go to McDonald's and get a salad. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
No. See, the thing is, I would say this is so like people say this is a good intro to anime because it's like like Disney.
But
So
but it's
for a
not
Western audience,
that much like other anime.
no, you're kind of wrong about that. It's
You
a
just
lot
watched
like
Death
other
Note.
anime. Well, yeah, but that's like saying you know, Toy Story is a good introduction to Western films, and then you're saying no, it's not. I mean, you just watched Breaking Bad. Oh, that's not a film. You just watched There Will Be Blood. You know, it's like, yeah, it's because we're talking about. That's the dumb thing about even making anime a genre is like it's not a genre. Spirited Away is clearly in a different genre from Death Note, but that's not because they're two different mediums. Like they're still both anime.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Okay. All right.
Anyway, I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just my main point was that watching this again, like, I somewhat agree that it's a good intro to anime and that like it's a very Japanese film and it kind of, but like at the same time, it's so jarring. Like watching it, I realized like this would be so extremely jarring for someone who knows nothing about anime. I know that because I watched with my fiance who was in that position, and it's like Death Note was such a better introduction to anime.
I watched this with we were dating then, but with oh no, we were married. Yeah, I watched this with my wife. I've seen almost every Miyazaki movie. There's one or two newest I haven't seen. We did a deep dive into Miyazaki.
That's impressive. Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen this before, and when I first saw it, I didn't get it like at all. I was like, it looks good. It's a very pretty movie. I don't get what's the hubbub. What is this? Why is this?
That was. I just want to say, I've this is my second time watching it, and I like it more now. But like that was somewhat my reaction, but that was very much my fiance's reaction. She's like, I don't get it. Why do people like this movie?
Yeah, and that makes sense. That's exactly what I thought. It's like, why are people almost like some people, like when I was in high school, were like almost obsessed with this movie, Spirited Away.
Oh
was,
yeah,
like,
I mean,
was, like,
people have
movie.
like little plushies of like No Face from the movie.
Yeah.
And it is the second best-selling anime movie of all time.
What's the first? I'm curious.
Number one, oh dude, if you want to get into lists of best-selling movies, you're gonna get real sad real quick. But the first right now, it came out 2 years ago, 2020, is the Demon Slayer movie.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Well, okay, Demon Slayer is like a shonen show, but it honestly, it's got amazing animation, so like I kind of do want to see it.
Okay.
You want to hear something? Just this is already we're like 10 seconds in, 10 minutes in. I don't know, but like I've got a little bit of a diversion on this note. But since it came up, since I knew that this was the second best selling and until 2 years ago was the number one best selling anime movie, I looked up what the highest grossing animated films are. So not Japanese anime, but just like any animated film. Do you want to be incredibly depressed?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, take a guess what the number one highest grossing animated film of all time is.
I got a question for you real quick about the list. Does this include like CGI?
Yeah, all animated films, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does include CGI.
Is it the new Lion King?
Yes!
Is it really?
Yes, it is the 2019 remake of The Lion King, which made $1.6 billion.
Wow.
That is the most depressing. Let me just run you through this list a little bit real quick, okay? This is like has very little to do with Spirited Away. Spirited Away is not even on the top 50.
That's wow. But this is very interesting though. I do want to hear this.
Number 2, Frozen 2. $1.4 billion. Number 3, Frozen. I don't know how Frozen 2 made $0.2 billion more, but it did. Number 4, Incredibles 2.
All right, that was okay.
$1.2 billion.
It's not $1.2 billion good.
Number 5, get ready. I'm like, seriously, I hope you're sitting down. Number 5, Minions. Not Despicable Me, but Minions. Okay. Number 6, Toy Story 4. Number 7, Toy Story 3. Number 8, Despicable Me 3.
This is so weird.
Number 9, Finding Dory.
You have to stop.
It's all the like shitty sequels.
You have to stop. What's the next one?
Number 10, Zootopia.
Oh, that's an original. It sucks, but that's an original. Okay.
Yeah. Number 11, Despicable Me 2.
Okay.
Number
Okay.
12, Lion King, the original. Finally, like the first good movie on the list, right? Like,
Yeah.
number 13, Finding Nemo. Okay, we're just under $1 billion now. Number 14, Shrek 2.
Wow, Shrek 2? Is that high up?
$900 million.
Shrek 2 made $900 million?
Yes.
I wonder what that is adjusted for inflation. I wonder if you adjust for inflation.
Oh, it's probably, it's got to be even
actual...
more. I can keep going, and honestly, let's just keep going a little bit longer. Number 15.
Just a little bit.
Number 15, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, which I think is the original.
No, it's not. That's like the 5th in the series, and I don't think it's like the 4th or the 5th. I'm not joking.
Oh, well, number 16 is Ice Age Continental Drift, which is definitely...
Oh, I have no...
which is the 4th installment.
I'm not...
So apparently Dawn of the Dinosaurs is the 3rd installment.
I'm not enough of a historical geologist to know which
Both of
one
those made a
happened
good...
first.
Both of those made a good, like, $800-something million.
Wow.
Number 17, $875 million, The Secret Life of Pets.
Oh, no.
Number 18, Inside Out, which I hear is good.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Number 19, $800 million, Shrek the Third.
Oh.
Number 20, this is where it gets even crazier as we start getting to these movies that I thought not a single person saw. Number 20, $807 million, Coco.
Coco. Oh, is that the
weird Spanish Disney movie?
Yeah.
Number 21, this is going to be the entire show. Number 21, $750 million, Shrek Forever After. Number 22, Madagascar 3.
They made a third?
Apparently,
is that the one where they get lost in Paris?
It's called Europe's Most Wanted.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm gonna go down towards the bottom now. Everything in between is like mostly really shitty. Just wanna let you know. There's not a few good movies.
Hold on, Control F over the hedge, please.
Not on the list.
Oh, too bad.
No,
really?
It's not here.
Really?
Not
we
here.
got Coco, Secret Life of Pets. We don't have Over the Hedge.
Here's
Over
the
the
thing
Hedge is more culturally significant than
there
both
are now
of those movies.
around like the 20s and 30s. There are some good movies mixed in. 32 Incredibles, 33 Ratatouille, 31 Kung Fu Panda. You've got Tangled. You've got Monsters Inc. You got the original Madagascar, which wasn't like good, right? You got the Simpsons movie. But let me just point out this one alone broke me for like a good like few hours. Number 46. It made $528 million. Hotel Transylvania 3. Summer Vacation.
They're making a new one. I don't know if you knew that. There's another one coming out.
I'm just trying to get my head around the fact that $500,000 worth of people went to see Hotel Transylvania 3. $500 million. Yes, thank you. Even $500,000, I would be blown away. But no, $500 million. Beating Boss Baby by a couple mil.
It did better than Boss Baby.
It's better than WALL-E by 7 mil.
Dude, WALL-E's good, by the way.
WALL-E's actually good.
Could you imagine being the kind of person where like you're going to the movie theater, you know, and you see like a poster, and you're like, oh, sick, Hotel Transylvania. Oh, sick. I'm gonna go see that.
I'd like to point out, by the way, that none of the other Hotel Transylvanias are in the top 50.
That's wild.
What world do we live in?
I just picture this. At some point, somebody said, "I'll have one for Hotel Transylvania 3, please." Someone said that.
You want to hear something else fun? Just a fun little fact. You look at highest grossing animated franchises. Number 1, Despicable Me. Number 2, Shrek.
Let's talk about Spirited Away.
Let's talk. Yeah. That was a long diversion there, but I think it was worth pointing out just to like bring everyone else listening to this podcast into the despair. Like, now I know. I mean, I guess I knew, but I didn't really know why they keep making these fucking shitty sequels and remakes. But now I know that the Lion King 2019 remake is the best-selling animated film of all time. And now it's like, oh. You know what I mean? It's not like I feel this is not the truth setting me free. This is the truth making me go, oh. You feel me?
Yeah, that's well, you know, we are the times, such as we are, such are the times.
Stop seeing Hotel Transylvania 3.
Yeah, just stop. Stop doing. Stop going to.
For it to have made $500 million, I mean, like, I don't want.
It's everyone's fault. It's everyone's fault.
It's if you went and saw that movie, it was your fault.
Yeah, it was. Thank you. Good job.
Fault.
Great.
The world we live in is because you saw Hotel Transylvania 3.
I could probably guarantee you that every single person listening to this, not a single one has seen Hotel Transylvania 3.
What about the new Lion King? I can't believe a single person saw that movie, and it's the best-selling one.
Yeah, I saw. Well, okay, let's talk about Spirited Away. I could talk about this all day.
Okay.
Let's talk about Spirited Away.
All right. Well, yeah. Basically, I liked it.
Yeah. So
I like the aesthetic. I like the how it looks, but like the aesthetic both in how it looks, but also just like the feel of the movie. But like story wise, it feels like a mess in a lot of ways.
The first time I saw it, like I said, it was like I don't get it. I don't get what the big deal is. Mm-hmm. Last time I watched it, you know, like a few days ago, blown away. This is a wow. I fucking love this movie. This is a masterpiece. And I don't know if it was because the first time I don't know. I didn't have a kid then. I didn't have any whimsy in my life. Or maybe now. Well, the first time I watched it, I watched with dubs. Or sorry, with subtitles. I watched with subtitles.
Really? I've never even seen it with subtitles.
And I don't recommend doing that because there's so much to see on screen. You just don't be distracted. And also the dub is really, really, really good. So
yeah, it's good. It's
so
good.
If
the main character's a little bit of an annoying voice, but like whatever.
She's the voice of the girl in like Lilo and Stitch. She's in a lot of stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, because it was I actually watched this on DVD that my wife had. And at the beginning of my copy of the DVD, it's so weird. The movie doesn't start when you press play movie. Before you get that, you just see John Lasseter in like a director's chair. You know John Lasseter?
No.
John Lasseter was like the Pixar guy. He directed all the Pixar movies.
Okay.
You see John Lasseter in a chair, and he says, "You are so lucky. You're about to watch Spirited Away." It's like,
yeah, no, I was reading about that. Yeah, he was a Pixar like animator, and he was a big fan of Miyazaki.
Yeah. You're just saying he was the Pixar guy. He was the Pixar guy. Like he's a legend. Okay. It's crazy you know John Lasseter. He's an absolute.
I've heard the
legend.
name, but
yeah. He recently got he got Me Too'd a few years ago for bullshit. For bullshit. He was collateral damage. He got fired over excessive hugging.
Oh, he's that guy. I know this guy. He's
the
excessive hugging guy.
Which I don't know. He's in California and he's very friendly.
He was too friendly at Pixar.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. But yeah, he's the guy. If you don't know him, you've probably seen him. Like if you're into any behind the scenes stuff, you've seen this guy. He's always in the bright shirts. You know. Like
does he have anything to do with Toy Story?
Yes.
Was he Toy Story?
He's Pixar. Yes.
I know, but I mean like. Okay.
Yeah, he's Toy Story, Monsters, Inc.
I'm looking here. Known for Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Bugs Life, and Cars.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, he's very good. He's really a legend. And yeah, I guess he's a big Miyazaki fan, and it was so weird to get like before you watch this, John Lasseter approves this movie. But the reason I'm saying that, why the dub is so good, is he produced it. He's the executive producer of the dub. He saw the movie and he said, "Wow, I want America to have this movie." So he got like the best of the best Disney guy. And this is Disney in like the early 2000s. So they're not like completely garbage yet. They're great. That's who you want doing it. They
weren't making Lion King 2019 for $1.6 billion or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. You can't let that go, can you?
No, I can't. I'm also reading here, by the way, that apparently Lasseter became a close friend of Miyazaki, and he loved the film The Castle of Cagliostro, and he liked it. It said he was so deeply moved by it that he insisted on showing a clip of it and other examples of Miyazaki's work after dinner to a woman he had just met. In parentheses, who would become his wife.
What a king.
Yeah, just showing like, yo, you gotta see this anime movie.
I don't like Castle of Cagliostro. That's weird.
Well,
so yeah, I really liked Spirited Away, and I think it will send you to heaven, and I think it's a really fantastic movie. And not only are you cleared to show this to your kids, I encourage you to show this movie to your kids.
wow, you're just fucking zooming through this, dude.
Well, no, yeah, I have to explain why.
Okay.
It's called the
Ring Theory.
It's called Ring Theory. Thank you. It's called Ring Theory, like Star Wars.
It's like, yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. So let's talk about Spirited Away.
Okay.
When we talk about there's lots of ways we can get into the morals of a movie and how it will affect your soul. Like what themes is it presenting? Which is the main thing, and also content and that kind of thing. Like when we talked about Gattaca, we talked about how the fruits of it, the general message is really, really good, but there's a few things in there you might want to watch out for, right?
Right.
In Spirited Away, because it's like a kid's movie, there's not that much. I don't know. There's not a man killing himself. Well, it's a Japanese movie. You might get that anyway in a kid's movie, but.
Right.
I want to talk about the transcendentals. I want to talk about the true, the good, and the beautiful.
Okay.
And how these will work together in Spirited Away to elevate your soul, and also give especially kids or just young people starting out in the world really, really good message that I somehow, well, I'll talk about it. So the true, the good, and the beautiful. We'll start with the easy one, the beautiful. It's a beautiful movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a beautiful looking movie. There is no doubt.
And people, I think a lot of the time, especially now in our horrible materialistic hell world that we live in, beauty so goes by the wayside. But like even in like philosophical stuff, like Stefan Molyneux, how many episodes does he have about beauty versus how many episodes does he have about the fucking non-aggression principle? You know what I mean? Like beauty.
Well, I mean, you're talking about like a, you know,
whatever, you know, like popular philosophy.
Sure.
Philosophy today. And when, of course, the transcendentals, it's not like just a Catholic thing. The true, the good, and the beautiful is the point of philosophy. That is what we get to.
Yeah, well, and I think the reason why is because actually of children's films is the reason why the beautiful is not focused on. And I'm not saying because Shrek looks like shit. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that there is this constant theme in modern day trying to be like shoved down everyone's throat of don't judge a book by its color. Mm-hmm. By its cover. What the fuck am I saying?
Its color.
I was thinking the racial aspect. But like that theme is always shoved down your throat. You should not judge somebody by how they look, and it's actually the ugly motherfucker who's the good guy always. Let me tell you,
therefore beauty's not important.
And in real life, it is like basically the opposite. Like I'm talking like I forgot the word for it. Phenology. What is the word for it? Eugenics.
No. Physiognomy.
Physiognomy. Thank you. Actually, ugly people are usually ugly inside too, and there's a reason why you can look at certain people terrible child molester was finally caught and thrown in jail, and you look at the guy and you're like, yeah, that's a child molester.
Subway Jared.
You know what I mean?
Subway Jared, anyone could have seen from a mile away.
We should have all been able to see. The reason Subway Jared got away with molesting kids for so long was because of movies telling people not to judge a book by its cover.
Ooh, you know what? You're 100% right. Yes, exactly. Yeah, sure, he looks like a child molester, but come
But like,
on.
there's no way, right? Like, you get because of these movies. The movies don't even teach you just like don't judge somebody without like knowing more about them. What they teach you is the bad-looking person is a good guy.
Yeah, they do. Despicable Me. Although he was a bad guy.
I haven't seen Despicable Me, but
so so yeah, you're right. You're right. Beauty is definitely gone by the wayside, and I think it's also kind of a like utilitarian thing, where if you're gonna build, if you need like public housing or whatever, like projects, you don't spend the money to make something look nice. You just fucking
that
there it is.
that
You
is
got it.
that has been proven though as a very dumb way of doing
Yeah,
things.
but they do it anyway.
They do it. That's their justification. But what they found is like they'll build some big fucking housing complex or something, like big apartment building, and since it looks like shit, no one wants to live there. And like in the UK, I can't remember the name of the fucking
I
town.
know exactly what you're talking about. In London, they built a whole thing, and it's abandoned. It's abandoned because it looks
It's
bad.
abandoned, even though there is a huge need for housing, and the reason is just because it looks like shit.
But
And like, but like you have some building that's been around for like 200 years, and it looks nice, so people live in it still.
see, but you saying that demonstrates my point. We don't think about beauty, even though it is actually very, very important and valuable.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, just if all things are equal, and there's nothing, even if there's nothing good in Miyazaki, if there's also nothing bad in Spirited Away, this is still worth watching because it's so fucking beautiful. Like, I mean, literally every shot is a work of art because it's animated, but just all the different the creatures are great to look at. The spirits or whatever they are. The animation is incredible. And actually, I watched a bunch of the mini documentary that was on the DVD, and just an animator mentioned like a little touch that Miyazaki does in his stuff, which when you think about it is mind blowing that they thought of this detail. When Chihiro puts on her shoes before she goes out. The little soot balls, which are great. Oh, aren't they great? When little soot balls bring her shoes, and she doesn't just put on her shoes. An animator, a typical animation, just like, and she puts on her shoes and she goes. But she fits them in. She taps the toes. She makes sure they're all good, and
Yeah.
it was incredible. And when she's
She doesn't
holding
put her
the
socks
coal,
on.
yeah, she gets the socks on, and when she's getting the coal in the same place, but in an earlier scene, you can like feel how heavy that thing weighs. The animation is so vivid there. And also just the colors. I mean, the scenes where she's walking through the waters like 6 inches deep. That's incredible. Like that's beautiful. Those are wallpapers. It's fantastic.
Well, yeah, like every scene in this movie you could just screenshot, and it's an amazing looking wallpaper. I will say that's like the big benefit. I think most Miyazaki movies are kind of like that. I think that's one of the reasons his movies are so popular. But it's also somewhat of a common thing just with anime movies. Like when you have these like big studios, usually who will spend like when they're making a show, they have to like drag out their budget across hours and hours of footage of animation. And but then when they like, oh, we just have to make an hour and a half, it looks just amazing. They put all their work. I mean, like I'd say it's not even just a Miyazaki thing. Like I haven't seen the new Demon Slayer movie, but it's supposed to look amazing. But also like Makoto Shinkai is a director he has a movie Your Name, which almost beat it. I think it's number 3. It almost beat Spirited Away in like best selling, and he's got another movie 5 centimeters per second, which I think looks amazing. But
I don't like Akira, but it's fantastic. I have screenshots of that as my wallpapers on.
Another would be Jinro.
Yeah, Jinro
Jinro is
really
an amazing
unique
looking movie.
Yeah, but yeah, so
anyway,
it's very good. So beautiful. It's pretty much self-evident, but I really want to hound just how good looking this movie is. Oh, and the music too, by the way. That's part of the beauty. The music is magical. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It really elevates the whole thing. Okay, now let's talk about the true. We talked about the beautiful, the true. This now I know it's a wacky, crazy spirit world dream nightmare movie, but this is the most accurate coming of age story I've ever seen.
Interesting. I really don't know what you mean by that.
Well, a lot of coming of age stories, at least maybe in the West, or ones that I've seen, are really like a loss. They're loss of innocence stories. You know, where
Okay. Yeah, I kind of see it. Pinocchio,
yeah, yes, actually, yeah, Pinocchio,
which is probably the best coming of age story, by the way.
or you just like Jordan B. Peterson, or
That is true.
what happens at the end of Stand By Me? Don't they find like a dead body or something?
Yeah, I think that's like the whole point of the movie. I thought.
Yeah,
That's
like,
the only thing I know about the movie. I know they walk on train tracks and they find a dead body.
and
And they stand by each other.
And a river runs through it. Is not to spoil that movie because
what an
really,
amazing
really
movie, dude! Oh fuck! Don't even bring. We got to do an episode on the river runs through. What an amazing movie!
But that's also kind of a loss of innocence. Look, bitch, the world is fucking hard and unfair, and everything about it sucks.
I would agree. Yeah.
So when I think of coming of age stories, that's what I think, and that's you know what? There's merit in that. The world is like that. That's important.
Sure.
But Spirited Away takes it another step. If Stand By Me is the black pill, Spirited Away is the white pill. Because we have I guess this is really all in the frame of getting your first job. That's basically what happens to Chihiro in
That's true. Yeah.
She gets her first job. And I've had a first job before, and it's hard. It's really hard. And every step of the way for Chihiro is like, yeah, that's it. That is exactly how it is. Yes. So she's basically recruited by what's his name? Haku?
Haku, yeah.
Is it Haku or Haku?
Haku, yeah.
And then she has to like sneak into the place. Anyway, she's recruited by Haku and then has to meet people along the way to get to talk to the boss. I mean, that's basically the hiring process in general, but we don't need to get into the weeds there. But once she has it, she's constantly disrespected when she first starts. Mm-hmm. And she is weighing everybody down. She's the absolute lowest of the low. That's how it is at a new job. And
she doesn't know fucking anything. At one point, like somebody at like that girl that I don't remember her name, but she asked her like go talk to the foreman, and then she has to come back and say, "What's a foreman?"
Yeah, you know, like... and that's exactly how it is. When I first started working in Alaska, I was fucking treated like shit. I don't know how to do anything, and mm-hmm. I mean, like I literally didn't know how to do anything. People in jobs. They're not going to cut you a break because they have a job to do too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we could say that's wrong of them to be dicks. And, you know, I guess it is, but it's even better for you to just suck it up and take it and like grow up and get over it. And Chihiro does that. And that's great. And she makes friends along the way. And this is something that this is what kind of caught my eye to, oh, this is exactly how getting a job is. She meets Haku, first person she meets. And she's like, oh, I trust this guy. This guy's great. And then she meets the girl. I also don't remember her name. And she's like, oh, yeah, Haku, don't trust the guy. That's a fucking thing that guy says. That guy sucks.
Yeah.
Which is every job I've had. The first guy I work with, I'm like, this guy's cool. I can trust this guy. The next guy I talk to is like, that guy's a real fucking piece of work. Let me tell you. And it's just like, oh, okay. I guess I just have to form my own opinions then.
Right.
But as a kid, it's weird because because these are all... You look up to these people. You started this job. They're all older than you when you're a kid. You trust them. And then you're kind of disillusioned by even the fact of people older than you are smart, which I assumed until I had my first job. But yeah, what Chihiro does is she accepts that she sucks. She doesn't complain, really. She doesn't say how fair it is and she quits, which everyone our age seems to do with every job ever. Because, you know, they are fair and they are unfair and you should probably quit, but you should try a little bit and make some money and move up in the world. Anyway, I thought that was true. And that's not really a moral thing, how accurate it is to getting a job and going out in the world. But the reason I think it's good is because that's the kind of thing that kids should see. as a coming of age, kind of how life is when you get your first job. And also, a crazy thing, if you look at Spirited Away in this way, Chihiro's being thrust into the world to redeem her parents. And
Pinocchio.
I have been thinking about that a lot. I have no fucking idea what that means. What does that say about work? What is Miyazaki saying here? Because that seems incredibly deep, and something's not making sense to me. But that is what it is.
Well, it's very interesting because that was the problem I had. That was like a big confusion for me. Is that it seems like a big message that she learns in this movie is to to kind of go along with the way things are going, like to go with the flow, like, you got a job, you know what I mean? You just have to work a job now. Like, just kind of go with it, you know? But like, that's also what her parents do at the beginning by like, oh, let's go explore this abandoned theme park. And like, she's like, no fucking way. I don't want to do this. I don't want to, let me stay. I want to stay here. And like, they're just like going with it, and they get turned into pigs. And she's clearly the one who had the better result there. So it's like, I don't know what that's about.
It's very confusing, and I have to look up essays on that for someone to explain that to me. I don't know if there's like some Japanese cultural thing I'm not getting there.
There is another layer to it that I'll get into later.
Okay.
But
yeah, that one I'm having trouble parsing.
Yeah, I got something a little bit on that.
Okay. So yeah, and then of course, you know, Chihiro, she kind of grows and she earns some respect because she does some great stuff at her job, and you know, if you don't give up, that will happen to you. And yeah, I think that's great. I think that's great. And let's talk about the good. Let's talk about the beautiful, the true. Let's talk about what's so good, which is also true. The true and the good are linked in my analysis here. So what is so good is the Bible quote from the beginning, Mark 18:3. You have to become like a little child to enter the kingdom of heaven. You have to desperately hold on to your childlike innocence and also wonder, in order to be a good Christian, a good Catholic. I mean, if you're just old and jaded, you know, what is God? God, oh yeah, he's that guy that gives me arthritis every morning. You know what I mean? We hear so much about God all the time, especially as a Catholic. You know, it can get mundane. But Chihiro struggles and succeeds in holding on to her childlike innocence, and this is represented in the movie by names. By people forgot their name. I'll explain the mechanics. So the people who work at the bathhouse, they can't leave because what's her Yubaba, the evil witch who runs the bathhouse, takes your name when you start working there. Mm-hmm. So she kind of takes your soul, which is true. Employers will do this. They do that kind of thing. They
don't literally take your name, but take your soul maybe in some ways.
They do, and they can. So they can't leave because they have lost their names, their real names, and which is them. They've lost themselves. They've lost who they are. That is essentially what it means. Am I wrong in saying that? That makes complete sense.
There's something else to it that I'll get into, but yeah, I think you're right.
So they can't leave because they can't remember who they are, which the movie kind of points you towards who you were as a child. So where the heck am I going with this?
I don't know.
Well, the climax of I guess Yubaba loses control when you remember who you are, which is you as a child, and that is important, because if you, I've lost it. The Jameson is hitting me. Does this make sense? Ask me a question. Prompt me.
What are you talking about? Something about okay. Let me just you fill in what you were saying.
Hold on.
Let me say something that
this is
I thought you were gonna say.
This is further demonstrated. I should just look at my notes. They're right here. This is further demonstrated. The whole losing your soul thing in when No Face comes, who just gives people gold, just makes gold, and everyone wants the gold. Everyone is doing everything for the gold. I mean, they're slaves to the gold. You know, they're slaves to money. They're slaves to their job. I'm sure that's very poignant in Japan. And
yeah.
But Chihiro's like not interested at all in the gold. So No Face has no power over her, and then that pacifies No Face. He becomes just kind of a lonely guy looking for purpose in life, which I guess is a sort of side theme to the movie, which I didn't look into too much, but No Face definitely represents a certain element of society. Just looking for a place, looking for anything to get attention, but I don't know. Just I guess values himself so little that thinks he has to give him something in exchange. Wow, I'm making myself sad just thinking about that. Anyway.
Right, well, that's the classic Molyneux me plus thing.
It is.
What do I need to give someone to make myself worthwhile, like worth being loved? It's the idea that like if you're a rich guy and your friends will only hang out with you because you like buy them lunch and stuff, then that means you have a negative value because you have to even equal them to like reach zero. You have to have a lunch. So that means you started out negative lunch. You know what I mean? Like that's your value is a negative lunch.
Yeah.
Or like if some woman has to give sex in order to be valuable to like her husband or something, then she is negative sex. You know what I mean? Like she has a negative value in that way. Or if a man has to like his wife will only love him if he provides, then he obviously is going to have the feeling that he's negative a job, right?
Negative sex is my new Twitter handle.
Negative sex.
So the whole
I'll take 10% royalties on that one.
The whole climax of the movie is when she's flying with Haku and she remembers something that happened in her childhood, thus freeing Haku. Which
you're fine. Keep.
Which one is it? Haku.
I think it's Haku.
And when she does that, she's what happens then? Haku is now free. And then they leave the bathhouse, and she goes on with her life.
Yeah, she has one less test about like figuring out which pigs are her parents, and it's none of the ones there. But then they get to leave.
Well, assuming, or that's implies that then she remembers what her parents look like. If she knew her parents weren't there.
I don't know about that, but I don't think it's important.
Yeah, whatever. Memory is really important. Remembering who you are. Setting you free and also setting you apart from the rest of the world. I mean, you've had jobs. Most people that you meet, well, anywhere, but at your job, are gone. They're fucking gone.
I mean, well, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. I think that we have worked. Well, mostly we've worked like the same jobs, but me and you have worked like
blue collar,
manual labor jobs. A lot of
yeah.
And when you see like these kind of older, especially the older people who are still working these manual labor jobs, a lot of them are just checked out. Like they've completely given up on anything in life. I will say though, we both also worked at a marketing firm and it was not really any different. So
yeah, it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're done.
And I actually made less money in that also, but
they're just there. They're almost like completely going through the motions, like the people in the bathhouse. What are they looking forward to? You know what I mean? What's next for them? There's nothing. That's it. It's crazy,
right? Well, and I don't know if the movie even has much to say. Unfortunately, like I think the movie doesn't say too much negative about that. You know, it's kind of saying, yeah, we'll get a job and go with it anyway.
No. It absolutely does because they've forgotten who they are. They've lost their names and they can't remember. They can't get it back. And also, by the way, Chihiro's parents becoming pigs, and they have become indistinguishable from all the other pigs. You can't tell them apart unless you remember. I think, growing up and getting a job, you lose who you are and you become nothing. You become indistinguishable from everybody else.
Well, I'd say that would be supported also by the fact that when she gets there, she's a human, and so she's like discriminated against, and everyone like hates her smell or whatever. But they say like after 3 days of eating our food, you won't even notice.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'll just fit in completely, and she won't have the weird smell anymore. It's the same thing. It's like you'll just be indistinguishable.
So
after 3 days,
I think on the last episode, or maybe the Rudolph one, I was bitching about the Protestant work ethic.
Sure.
This is anti-Protestant work ethic movie. This is
I would agree.
This is look, work's good. You gotta work. It's not an anti-work movie. It's just you don't make it become everything, which is good. That is a very healthy attitude toward work, I think.
No, I mean, yeah, I agree for sure.
So anyway, I think having that attitude, especially America's a very workaholic culture. I think having that attitude is going to send you to heaven if you just don't make work everything, lose yourself in work. And I'd say heaven, for true good and beautiful heaven.
Okay. All right.
Did you notice one of the frog guys has the same voice as Colonel Campbell in Metal Gear Solid?
No, I did not notice that.
He does.
Metal Gear Solid comes back.
Yeah. Do you want to thank our sponsors?
Sure. I don't know who they were, but
I have
do.
I have them here.
Okay.
Here,
let me explain.
Pull stuff up. Explain our business model here.
Oh, excuse me. So, excuse me again. That's the LaCroix. We here do not take advertisements. The reason being, we can't make the kind of hard-hitting commentary that we provide. We don't want it to be censored because we have some company sponsoring us that maybe you would color our interests or otherwise make it to where we're not giving you the best.
Maybe Squarespace is run by a bunch of Protestants, and I think it's fucked up that we're anti-Protestant work ethic.
Who knows? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So instead, and also naturally, when you're taking money from somebody, that just colors your view no matter what. And there's even if the news for some reason was actually going to try and be objective when it came to pharmaceuticals, they would obviously still have a bias just by the fact that all their bills are getting paid by pharmaceutical companies. So we instead have our opinions colored by the people who we're actually making the show for. And what I mean by that is we take your money.
Wouldn't you want to be the Pfizer to our CNN? Think about the power you have over us.
About the power. It's basically, since you're the one receiving the show, you're the one that matters here, it makes sense that you are the one who's going to be coloring our opinion by being the one paying the bills, so to speak. There not many bills are being paid at the moment. But basically, what we ask is simple. What do you think the show is worth? I am asking you. That is not a rhetorical question. It is a real question. I am asking you, what is the dollar value that you think this show is worth? Do you think it's worth $5? You think it's worth $100? You think it's worth $1,000? You think it's worth $1 million? Whatever that number is, that's what you should pay. Now, I'm not actually expecting somebody to pay us $1 million. That was just, that was just a shot in the dark there. I'd love that. That would be great. But if it's worth $50 for you, then that's what you should pay. If it's worth $1, you should pay $1. We're not asking for anything more than what you think it is worth.
And you can donate at paypal.me/willitsendmetohell or patreon.com/willitsendmetohell. These are both in the description. Any podcast app, go to the description. If you're watching on YouTube, description, Spotify, it's all there. You can get to it, no problem. People are asking me. I get DMs hey, how do I donate? It's dude, it's that. Thank you, but it's in it's in everything. I say it's everywhere where to donate.
It's so and just to be clear, the Patreon is for monthly donations that are regular, like a subscription, and the PayPal is for a one-time donation. That's the easiest way to think about it.
We have a basic attention token wallet. Also,
which someone actually sent some.
Yes, we'll get to that in a second.
We should get other wallets as well, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. So let's thank our producers, and these are real credits, by the way. You can use them anywhere. Our executive producer today is Stephen K. Thank you very much, our executive producer Stephen K. We could
How much
not
did you send?
$15. We could not do this show without you. It would be impossible. We need your help. So thank you. You did produce the show. What were you gonna say?
I just want to make sure that guy. Okay, I was wondering how much bat the other guy sent. It is not enough to be more than that.
No. It's $10 worth of
It's
bat
$10
that we got from Jammey. So thank you very much. You're our associate executive producer today. Yeah, thank you. And of course, I want to mention this also. If you want to sponsor a specific episode, if you want to be executive producer of Fight Club, I love Fight Club. I want my name to be on the Fight Club episode. We can do that. Let me know.
Yeah, we are in talks with some people. Some people have been mulling around what they want to do and like what they want to pick exactly and that kind of stuff. But if you're like, hey, yeah, like Fight Club's an example. Some people have mentioned like Breaking Bad or something or maybe you're the guy. Right? There's a couple of you out there. I know. There's a couple of people who really want us to do what is that really cringy autistic webcomic?
Homestuck.
Homestuck. Some people, there's a few, maybe you're the guy who's like, I need them to read Homestuck. Hey, how much is it worth for you?
Yeah,
Homestuck's long as shit. Give me
$1,000,
please.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do anything. I'll do My Little Pony. I don't care. My Little Pony, whatever. I'll do it.
If you gave us enough money, I would have to.
Yeah, and I'm fine. That would be probably a good episode.
It probably would.
It's weird to want to do that one specifically. Yeah, I want my name to be on the My Little Pony episode. But hey,
there's I can guarantee. I even probably know who in particular would be very interested in giving us like $200 to do that.
Dude, if you're still a brony in 2022, fucking respect. That's amazing.
That is kind of amazing. Is maybe not the. It's like when you see a car crash and you call it amazing.
It's very cool.
That you're cool.
You're still keeping it alive in 2022.
Yeah. That's like you still are a big like Filthy Frank and iDubbbz fan.
Yeah. It's like, dude, hey, you're still talking about how obviously good H3H3 is.
Just want to be clear, much less respectable than either of those, though.
Let's talk about emails.
Yeah, okay.
You can also send us emails. We read emails every single show. willitsendmetohell@gmail.com. We got some nice emails today. We got from Magnus. This is our first email. Hi, Michael and Dalton. I want to be baptized, but I don't buy the arguments I have
All right,
heard
in the name of the...
for what?
Never. I was going to say, all right, I baptize you in the name of...
Oh, okay.
But no.
Yeah, don't fucking interrupt me! Sorry, that peaked a little bit. I'll turn that down when I edit.
Didn't peak on my end at all.
Hi, Michael and Dalton. I want to be baptized, but I don't buy the arguments I have heard for papal supremacy, and therefore I am hesitant about the Catholic Church. I was wondering if you had any suggestions for material that might convince me. Thank you, and I love you, Magnus. P.S. Dalton, your YouTube videos were really good, and I urge anyone who hasn't seen them to go and do so. Yeah, that's Cheddar Breeze on YouTube if you wanted to watch those. I haven't made any in quite a long time. He says also, he sent another one. I should clarify that I accept papal primacy, and that it is not just an honorary thing. It's just that the privileges seem to have exceeded far beyond what they were in the early church.
All right, this one is like the easiest shit. In fact, I believe I'm tired of talking about this. I've had long conversations with... I feel like I've had long conversations with this guy in particular about this. But let me just... Okay, it depends on where this guy's coming from. I don't know if he's coming from like a Protestant perspective or from an Orthodox perspective, Eastern Orthodox.
Well, his name is Magnus, so I'm going to guess Orthodox.
I'm going to guess fake name, but sure. Like...
Okay.
But... I'm a name like Magnus. Maybe he's coming from like a fuck, why is my brain like
Oh,
off
like
today?
like a Scandinavian country. They're pretty Protestant.
Gnostic. No, Gnostic
Okay.
perspective.
Okay,
You know.
Gnostic.
But anyway, okay. I'm gonna assume if you're coming at this from a Protestant place, I mean it's simple. Like obviously, I mean if you accept the Pope, if you accept papal primacy, obviously none of the Protestants
Can
do that. So
can
I
you
assume that's not
explain?
where he's coming
Sorry,
from.
sorry. Can you explain the difference between primacy and what's the word you use? Supremacy.
Okay, it is a somewhat of an orthodox distinction, which is why I assume that's where he's coming from. But he's so papal supremacy is saying that the Pope is the like has a position supreme to the other bishops, whereas papal primacy would just say that he is like the first of many in a way.
Mm.
Like he's the top guy, but he's not necessarily any more important than the other ones. Whereas papal supremacy is like, hey, if all the bishops can't agree, the pope is the tiebreaker here because he is supreme over the other ones, right?
Okay.
The arguments are pretty simple. I mean, for one, Peter was said to be by Christ the rock upon which the church is founded, not the bishops, not all of the bishops, not all of Jesus's apostles, but just Peter, right? So there's that to begin with. But then you look at the early church and you read what like early church fathers said, and it's very clear. And these are church fathers who were considered like saints by both the Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, and the Catholics. And it's very clear that they saw the Pope as the there was the primacy, not the primacy, the supremacy of the Pope. And so I would like honestly it's not hard to find. Like just I seriously just Google like Catholic answers primacy of the Pope, and you'll find just a huge list. Supremacy. I'm sorry. But like it's getting hot in here. You'll find a huge list of all of these quotes from the early church fathers before the split happened in the church, talking about how like he is obvious, like the Pope has a supreme position. I mean, you read like Saint Augustine, who said, there are other things which rightly keep me in the bosom of the Catholic Church. The consent of the people and nations keeps me, her authority keeps me, inaugurated by the miracles, nourished by hope, enlarged by love, and established by age. The succession of priests keep me. From the very seat of the apostle Peter, to whom the Lord after his resurrection gave charge to feed his sheep, down to the current episcopate of Pope Siricius. On the matter of the Pelagians, this is a separate quote, but also from St. Augustine. On the matter of the Pelagians, 2 councils have already been sent to the Apostolic See, and from there the rescripts have 2 come. The matter is at an end. Would that the heir might be at an end. So what he's literally saying like, well, the matter has already gotten word back from the Pope, so it's over. Like the debate is over because we've already heard from the Pope on the matter. That's St. Augustine, you know.
Pretty big one.
Here's St. Jerome. The church here is split into 3 parts, each eager to seize me for its own. Meanwhile, I keep crying, he that is joined to the chair of Peter is accepted by me. It's another example. It in fact, that's the opinion you'll see a lot by the early church fathers, is that if you are not in communion with the See of Peter, then you are not in the church. And so you can sort of have these arguments about like, oh, well, the Pope is exerting more power than he did in the past. And it's like, even if we say that's true, it's like, hey, are you in the church that is in communion with the See of Peter? And if you say no, it's like, well, then you're not in the true church. And like maybe the true church is exerting more power than it used to, but even if that was somehow true, it doesn't change the fact that you're not in the true church if you're not with it. You know what I mean? Like, that is what all of the church fathers believed, and you will find just an endless amount of quotes on that. And I just like to point out once again, I think we've mentioned it before, but the schism was already mended, and the only reason the Eastern Orthodox churches still see themselves as being in schism is because of the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. And I, for one, am not a Turkish man. I do not hold a lot of, I don't really care about the opinion of the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. So I care more about the patriarch and the Pope who said that the schism was over. So there is no schism. Come back home to Rome.
How did the... What are you talking about, the Sultan? What did the...
You didn't know about that?
No, what are you talking about?
Oh, you should... Oh, okay. So, the schism from East and West.
Yeah.
It was... You look up, I believe it's called the Council of Ambrose? I'm not sure exactly. But if you look up, like, that the schism ended and the Sultan, look into it. The schism was mended, and then the leader of the Ottoman Empire told the Patriarch of Constantinople to, hey, you have to start the schism again.
What? Wait, that's why? That's why?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
it
stupid.
is not some sort of like obviously before that there were like religious, there were theological differences and stuff, but since then it is supposed to, like, I thought you knew about this because last time I brought it up, maybe I brought it up on stream or something, but last time I brought it up, people were like, yeah, of course, everybody knows that. Like,
I didn't know. That's stupid.
yeah, it's not Ambrose. I don't remember what it's called. It's not Ambrose. That's just a saint I'm thinking of. But, there is, you should look into it. It's very interesting. I haven't done an extreme amount of reading on it, but I just, that's almost an aside to the fact that, like, even if there still was a schism, which practically in a lot of ways there is, but you're still on the wrong side of it if you're not on the side with the chair of Peter. That's not me saying that. That's St. Augustine and St. Jerome and, a lot of other early church fathers.
So I get if you're a conservative, traditional-minded guy, which you probably are to some degree if you're listening to this, I get how Pope Francis would be a bit of a stumbling block, a bit of an obstacle. I think there's a possibility that a lot of his values might be overblown by the media. I think they also might
100%.
be underblown in some ways. I think there's a chance he might be worse than people say. But
I'd say he might be very, very bad, but I think there's no way he's worse than people say.
Well, I don't know. I'm not getting into it. I'm not gonna say some things
Okay.
About the Pope, but I will say that. Well, I mean, think of the moto proprio, Michael, in July. I mean, that's
sure.
He's got some rough ideas.
Well, no. But what I'm saying is, so many people have said such bad things about that it's like impossible for him to be worse than people say.
Oh, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
people call him the Antichrist. Is he worse than that? You know what I mean? Like,
no, probably not.
He can't be worse than people say.
But yeah, I think there's a chance he might be as bad as that. Maybe not the Antichrist, but look,
I think he's a bad pope. Ooh,
I
my desk, but...
I don't know. The point is, that's what we got right now, and the gates of hell shall not prevail.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's this guy's concern in particular. It might be.
This guy's talking about how the Pope seems to overstep his bounds. Of course, Pope Francis is a stumbling block.
No, I don't agree. He sounds like he has the very Eastern Orthodox perspective, which has been like that for hundreds of years.
Yeah, but you don't think Eastern Orthodox are pointing to Pope Francis and saying, see, look.
No, they don't. They really have stopped ever since their priests and bishops and such have said every single one of you needs to get the vaccine no matter what. Whereas at least in the Catholic Church, there are some bishops and priests who are saying you don't need to do that at all and you should stand by your conscience. A lot of them have very much stopped pointing out anything wrong with any Catholic leadership. So
okay, well, good for them then, I guess.
Bad for them, to be clear, but like, yeah, at least they understand where we're coming from. Like, oh shit, our leaders can be bad too. Fuck.
But anyway, look, Don't worry about it. I guarantee you we've had worse popes. I mean, there's a pope attempted to once sell the papacy. I mean, it's just shit happens. The fact that anything that splits from the Catholic Church inevitably splits from itself and itself and itself and itself forever. I mean, just there is no Orthodox Church. That's something that I think a lot of people talk about. Oh, well, I'm Orthodox. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? Are you Lithuanian Orthodox? Are you Russian Orthodox? Are you Greek Orthodox? There's none. You're not unified at all.
Oh, I mean, the Russians and the Greeks split recently, and like that's big.
Yeah, you know? as soon as you leave the Catholic Church, that's it. That's it for you. You split. I mean, at least the Orthodox have apostolic succession. But
they do. That's true.
But and I think Orthodox,
unless you're like American Orthodox, I guess.
Orthodox get a lot of like mysticism and stuff right too. I like the Orthodox do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to shit on the Orthodox or whatever. They're really cool, but yeah, you just fall apart. And the fact that we've had such bad... I'm not the first to point this out, but the fact that we've had such bad leadership for 2,000 years in the Catholic Church, and it's still one unified Catholic Church, kind of speaks to something divine, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's the argument that like the Catholic Church must be divinely protected because it has been so poorly mismanaged, and yet it is still around.
Next email. This is from our executive producer Stephen K. Keep up the good work on the podcast. I'd also like to suggest giving The Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith a thanks. Come on. A consideration for
okay, let's be clear. Episode. Let's be clear. Birth of a Nation is a pro-KKK movie. Despite that, I have heard that it is one of the greatest movies of all time. I have heard that from like the most... I'm not gonna pretend like the KKK is like the opposite of leftist. You know what I mean? Like as if like I'm right wing and I support the KKK or something like that. But like I've heard from like very leftist media critics even saying that like, oh yeah, it's a terrible movie, but it's an amazing movie.
He says it was fundamental in the development of the modern feature-length film and helped to create what American culture was before things went completely wrong. So I think it was significant enough to make an interesting episode. Yeah, you know what?
But I don't know if I'm gonna go watch it.
We might at some point, but we're still a new podcast, and I think we're gonna stay away from the KKK stuff for now. I don't want to. Hey, I've heard of them. Aren't they the KKK guys? No, dog. we can't do that one yet. But I think that might be a good one. Now you're an executive producer, so since you said this, I'm saying, yeah, we might do that at some point, and not no. True. But if it weren't such a bad idea for a new podcast to do that, I would say yes. But yeah, probably down the line or something like that would be very cool. We got some personal questions here from Roger, Yeoman/Michael. How goes the Japanese progress?
It's actually going. It's going pretty good.
He's learning Japanese. Yeah. He's learning. Japanese.
I've been learning Japanese I've been learning it for a few years, but I've been learning it seriously, like really seriously, for like maybe a year and a half or so, and it's going like super well, actually. Like all the time, I'm learning new stuff. Like so much more is starting to click, and I've actually been able to like consume Japanese media. Like I've been going through this. Well, I've been going through Chainsaw Man a little bit, which is a manga it's pretty good. And then I've been going through what is it called? It's like Sino no Augmento or something. It's about this like old ass man who stabs himself, like he kills himself because he fucking hates his life in the old folks home, and then he gets reborn as himself, like back in time when he was a kid, to like do his life over again and not be such a fuck up. It's pretty good. But like I'm actually able to read that, you know what I mean? Like I am reading it and I am understanding what's going on, and it's cool. I like being able to do that in his like foreign language. So yeah, it's going well.
In a few years, Michael's gonna help me buy my winter vacation home in Shikoku. So that's
I could definitely do that.
It's very important that Michael's learning this.
Yeah, right.
He says, Dalton, any new grilling ideas? No, it's winter. I haven't been grilling. I fucking hate winter.
I love winter.
I was gonna donate a small amount, but PayPal needs to confirm my card. Okay, no worries, man.
No rush.
No rush. Also, do you guys prefer tea or coffee if you guys drink either? I drink tea if I'm really tired. I'll have a glass of black tea, cup of black tea. I like iced tea in the summer.
I'm definitely not a coffee guy in any way. Right now, I haven't drank tea in a while. I used to be pretty big into tea. I have like a fancy Chinese tea set made out of like wood, then with like the porcelain china, like teacups and stuff. And like I used to live near a place that had like a really fancy tea shop where I could buy like imported Chinese and Japanese tea and like brew it myself with the leaves. So like I was kind of I like that a lot, and I think tea has like a whole sort of like background and like culture to it, and like the different leaves from different places. And it's pretty cool, and you can really taste the difference. I think probably similar to like people who get really into coffee and like are looking at like the different beans from different places.
Or whiskey.
But or whiskey, but obviously tea is quite a bit older than coffee. But now I don't do that. So now I don't drink either. And even when I did drink tea, I will say like I just do not. I am very anti being reliant on like any sort of substance. So even like I used to buy those oi ocha Japanese tea things, just like pre-made tea. Those are the best, by the way, if you don't want to like do all the work of like making your own. The absolute best is oi ocha.
Look, I
tea.
don't like green tea. I love that oi ocha green tea. It's
so fucking good.
It's extremely good.
It's amazing. But what I was going to say is even those, I would only drink half of them at a time because I didn't want to have like too much caffeine to where I'm like reliant on it. And that's my biggest problem with people like with like coffee is that people drink like 5 cups a day or they make those jokes about like, oh, you know, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. Like these people literally cannot function without this chemical caffeine, you know? Like that was always something I was very careful. Like I don't want anything to do with that, you know? But yeah, if you made me pick between the two, it's tea 100%.
Our last email here is from Jammey, who sent us the basic attention token. Thank you very much for that. He says, so can you guys open a wallet that works for more than just BAT? Since depending on how you send it, the fees are crazy. And I tried to send some via email, so check that. Yeah, I got that. Also, yeah, you know, we're gonna,
okay, yeah.
I'll try and get something that has low fees. I think Tezos has low fees. I'll find something that has low fees. I'll also just get like a regular Bitcoin and Ethereum. I should have those already.
Yeah.
Also,
or like Monero as well, so that our criminals can send us money.
Yes. Also, how are you finding cow liver? My local meat market said they have had problems getting them in and only have chicken liver.
Okay, let me answer that real quick. What? Your local meat market is lying to your face? Like, where do you live? Like just think about the fact that if they can get any piece of the cow, then they can get liver, because all cows have livers. I don't know if you knew this. So like, you should just ask, like, when you say meat market, it sounds weird. Like I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean like the meat section at like fucking not Walgreens, Walmart? like what do you mean? But if you go to a local butcher and tell them that you want liver, I can't imagine they don't tell you. Like at the very least, you could ask them, you know, where do you get your meat from? Give me that person's number and I can call them and buy liver, right? But the other alternative is, I am not kidding, recently I have found, this is a bit of a trick. I don't even know if I should tell people this. It is so much of like a hack.
This seems like if we tell too many people, it's going to stop being legal or something.
Never mind. I'm not going to give you this. DM me and maybe I'll give you the hint. But basically,
there's a secret trick to getting cheap organ meats.
There is, and I'm so happy to have discovered it.
It's a life hack.
It really is high quality shit for like super cheap. But you don't get to know that. Just think about it. Maybe you'll figure it out yourself. But honestly, liver is the easiest organ meat to get in the world. You need to like talk to your butcher again. Or, like, go to a different butcher. Like, where do you fucking live that you can't get cow liver? That's insane.
He ends with, thirdly, when are we going to get more Dalton streams and YouTube content? I probably won't do any more YouTube content
Well, I think he means my YouTube content.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I think think those are two separate things. Dalton streams and also YouTube content.
Let me spin you just the tiniest bit of a yarn. Um,
Okay.
I I have a baby and I have thin walls in my house, but
Hmm.
luckily I have a detached garage. So I put all my stuff in there. I made a little office in the garage, and it's extremely cold where I live now. So I couldn't work for a little bit because it was too cold in there. I could do maybe like 10 minutes of something, and then you got to go out and warm up. Um, so
Not
then
ideal.
yeah, it's not an ideal place for an office. So what I did was I built an office. I built walls and I insulated them in my garage. So now there is an office in there. And I had everything set up. I put a heater in there. It didn't get. I got like up to like 60 degrees in there after a while, which is good. I wanted to get it
That's pretty good.
higher. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a different heater. I'm gonna experiment with some stuff so it gets really nice in there. But yeah, I could work in that. I just put on a sweatshirt and a hat. It was no problem. I could do all the work I needed to. And for a day, I organized my whole thing. I got everything, like all my files. My desktop is perfect. I'm ready to go. It's such a good feeling when everything's clean. Everything's organized. I know where everything is. I'm ready to get back into it, baby. And then later that day, I have a ton of stuff running in my office, and I open up my garage door to take the car out, and I trip a breaker. No big deal. Look, I know it's not a big breaker. It was my fault. I should have turned off a few things. Whatever. It happens. I'll just go flip the breaker back. So I flip the breaker back. I unplug everything first. I flip the breaker back. Fucking no power. Fucking no power in my office at all. So I ended up, like, after hours, I found a GFCI outlet nearby, a ground fault uh,
Yeah.
control, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It's to prevent surges, and a certain amount of outlets will run off of this. And I pressed the test button, and a little spark came out, and it fizzled, and smoke came out, and I said, well, that's probably the problem. So I bought a new one, and I will be replacing that probably tomorrow, and hopefully that brings power back to my garage, and then I can get to work again. Now, if that doesn't, then I don't know. It's too TBD on that one. I'll have to get an electrician. But yeah, I am fucking working on it. I'm trying. I don't know how I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna have to somehow use my laptop to make like the thumbnail and everything for this, because I can't go in that sub-zero office and use my computer to send this. I don't know how I'm gonna get this podcast up, but I will fucking find a way to do it. Um. Anyway, yeah, it's been a rough winter for me so far. So yeah, that's coming. It's coming. Don't worry about it. Um, yeah, that's all we got. Anything else?
No, I don't think anything else for the emails or any of that.
So if you want to send us emails, it is willitsendmetohell at gmail.com. You can see we get a lot of content out of these emails, and so you're a producer of the show in that sense. If you do that, there's a way to support the show. Now, if we're getting too many emails, we're gonna put a dollar amount on these emails. But hey, for now they're free, so fucking send them in. You're doing us big service to the show, and you're really helping us out. Will it send me to hell at gmail.com. You can donate paypal.me/will it send me to hell, patreon.com/will it send me to hell. The basic attention token address, they're all in the description. You can also on Twitter. I don't know what Michael's Twitter. What's your Twitter?
I don't know, dude.
Michael doesn't use Twitter.
I don't know.
You can follow the show on Twitter at Send Me to Hell 2. You can follow me on Twitter, which I've been tweeting up a storm lately.
I should start tweeting.
You should start. It's very fun.
Yeah.
At cheddar_breeze. You can check out the Letterboxd Send Me to Hell podcast.
My Twitter is at Yeomanvidya. So that is YEOMANVIDYA. I will start tweeting soon, I think.
You can also check out my Letterboxd. I've reviewed so many movies on Letterboxd. I'm very good at reviewing movies. That would be at Dalton_cheddar, I think. All these links are in the description, so find them there. Also, Michael, what's your stream?
I was going to say, you should follow my stream, which is at twitch.tv/YEOMANVIDYA, Yeomanvidya. It's a great time, dude. Right now I am playing BioShock to prepare for a future podcast episode about BioShock,
Yeah,
which will not
BioShock.
be the next one, but
What is the next
coming.
one, by the way?
I don't remember. Is it you? I know it's one of two, but I don't want to say the wrong one.
Groundhog Day.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Groundhog Day.
It's a Groundhog Day special.
It is. We're gonna have to record that one a day early because Groundhog Day is on a Tuesday. These usually come out on Wednesday. I want it to come out on Groundhog Day, February 2nd.
Perfect.
So yeah, if you haven't seen 1993 Bill Murray Groundhog Day, watch it.
Classic.
It seems like everyone's seen that movie at least once.
Yeah.
We're trying to do stuff that people have seen. So if you haven't seen shit and you're saying, why do they keep doing stuff they haven't seen? Fucking donate. Work with me. We can get that.
Yeah,
That
give me
can
some
happen.
money. We'll watch whatever you want.
Well, I'll watch whatever you want. Yeah, Groundhog Day. Send in your emails about anything, especially Groundhog Day. I want to know what you think about Groundhog Day. Let's get back to the show.
Okay. I'm ready to give you my thoughts. Are you ready to receive them?
I am... Wait. Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay. I'll say first of all, this first one is just a funsy. It's not what I think about the movie, but I heard someone give this theory and I think some of it fits. I've heard some people say that the bathhouse in this movie is symbolic of a brothel. And it's a bunch of young, beautiful women cleaning and doing whatever the guests ask them to do in exchange for money. They also all lose their names, including the young girl main character loses her name, which is a common thing for prostitutes to separate their real life from their work life, quote unquote. And all of the clients that visit are actually like Johns. And the reason why Two-Face is a particularly bad client is that
No-Face. It's
No-Face, Two-Face.
It's not Two-Face.
No-Face, I meant, is because he gets attached to one of the girls, which is the main character. And everyone else is all over him because he's loaded, but she isn't interested because it's weird. And also it explains why later she says something about like, No-Face needs to get out of there because it's bad for him. The environment's bad for him, and it's because it like sucked him in sort of a weird, I don't know, sexual way. Like I said, I don't believe this, but I think it's a fun theory. Also, Haku is a pimp, and that's why
I like that part of it.
And then that's why he's nice to her when they're alone, but when they're not alone, he's like strict and like kind of aggressive, like doing his job because like he's got to put up a front. You know what I mean? Like he's the pimp. And also, she's trying to make money to help out her family, which is like classic prostitute dynamic.
Okay. I guess that makes sense, but that's just more of the bathhouse is a workplace / the
yes,
world.
I think it's kind of dumb. I just like being able to say the line "Haku is a pimp."
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's actually very compelling.
But
that's why I started with that. It's just an aside. I think it's fun.
It kind of though. You have to have a real cum brain to think, workplace. This is just like sex, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I heard this theory and I was like, that's interesting, but like, what is wrong with the person who came up with this theory? You know?
Tell me what you really think.
What I really think is this. Well, first I want to give one more little aside. The giant baby in this movie, genius, okay?
I like the giant baby a lot.
And the reason why is simple. You have an old single woman mother who babies this child and doesn't let that baby leave the house, doesn't let him leave even one room because she's scared of germs. What happens to a baby when you baby them like that? They never grow up. They just become a big baby. That baby is not literally a baby. That is a man-child. Very interesting lesson that the movie is giving there, and I agree 100%. So,
I like that. I like how I didn't mention this in mine, but since we're talking about it, Yubaba and Zaniba, how they're the same. They're twins, and they even dress the same. We're supposed to make the connection that they're the same. And they're both single women who have chosen different paths in life.
Right.
and one is clearly way better. Like Zaniba has way less, but she's nice and she's really happy. No one thinks Yubaba's happy. Yubaba's for sure not happy. Her life sucks.
No, no, yeah, she's not happy.
So
I will also say there's a little joke. I read some of the stuff that like the Miyazaki staff and like or the Studio Ghibli staff and what Miyazaki said about the movie. And one of the staff members said the joke among the people who worked on this movie was Zaniba and Yubaba are not identical. Yubaba has 1 mole on her chest and Zaniba has 4. You just can't see that in the movie.
okay.
So but and they said that's how we told them apart while we were making the movie. But anyway, I think this movie, like what you see is you see a, how do I put this? It's kind of tough to I think this is a movie not about like how do I say this? I think this is a movie about treasuring every little thing in life. And that comes from something Miyazaki actually said about it, which is he said in the spirituality of this movie of like Japanese Shinto, he said like his grandparents believed that like everything has life to it. And so you have to respect everything, like even like inanimate objects or like a river or like things like that. Everything you have some sort of respect for because there's like a spirit that protects it or like there's a spirit of that thing. And so he said he kind of wanted to bring back that kind of feeling. And I think this movie is that feeling being opposed to a Western materialism. And so the title of the movie, by the way, in Japanese is not Spirited Away, although it's close. It's what is it? Sen to Chihiro no Kamikakushi, which means Sen and Chihiro's spiriting away, which is weird that they have both names of the main character in the title. You know what I mean? But the point, like Spirited Away, or spirit. Somebody is honking outside of my.
I hear that
house. I don't know what that is. Someone's like alarm is going. I hope someone's not stealing my car.
Don't they know we're podcasting?
Don't they know we're recording? So actually, they're also a podcaster. They review car horns and car alarms. So I do have to like give them some professional respect here for doing their job at like in the afternoon at a very inconvenient time.
This one's in a nice D tone here, and I see. Okay. All right, we get the beep and the honk in this one. Very advanced for a 1998 model.
But anyway, the term spiriting away is actually it's a Japanese term that refers to something that happens in Japanese stories where a person mysteriously disappears or is killed because they have angered the spirits. Or angered God, or angered the gods. Mm-hmm. So what happens in this movie is you see basically Chihiro's parents anger the gods, which is why them and her are punished and get into the situation in the first place. And the reason she's punished, even though it's really her parents who did it, is because that's how the Japanese roll. You are 100% responsible for the sins of your father, and like there's no way around that. But so when the movie starts, you see the dad who wears like a polo shirt and drives an Audi and makes a remark about having credit cards and cash. So you don't need to worry because daddy's got credit cards and cash.
Thick dad, yeah. By the way.
Yeah. Which is one of the ways that they symbolize like European materialism. Like he drives a European car. He wears European clothing. Then you also see Yubaba, who rules over this bathhouse, which is a very Japanese bathhouse. All the workers wear like Japanese clothes, live in like very simple Japanese like living quarters. But she lives in a really gaudy European suite, and she wears herself European clothes. So another example of this European materialism. And so the sort of sin that the dad and the mom have committed is not just, is for one, being materialistic, but also in some way they're being held responsible for like there's also like an environmental message in this movie because of course Haku is revealed to be the spirit of some river that that family used to live next to, but it was filled in with apartments, right? So in some way, as humans, they're also being held responsible for that, like this anti-environment thing. But so what Miyazaki said specifically about when her parents turn into pigs is that it actually symbolizes greed. And what he said was, or what some of the staff said, but Miyazaki, like, it's some of the staff talking about what Miyazaki said. They said, they explained that Chihiro's parents turning into pigs symbolizes how some humans become greedy. The Studio Ghibli employee who wrote it says that according to director Hayao Miyazaki, there were people who were turned into pigs during Japan's bubble economy of the 1980s, and these people still haven't realized that they've become pigs. These are people are the ones saying we are in a recession and don't have enough to eat, which I guess they're just saying they're fucking greedy. They clearly have enough to eat. But the letter explains that once someone becomes a pig, they don't return to being a human being, but instead gradually start to have the body and soul of a pig. And he adds that this doesn't just apply to the fantasy world. So it is like it's clearly supposed to be a symbol of greed and gluttony and becoming a pig in spirit. And so Chihiro has to overcome that, and how she does that is she goes into, I think, what is like a symbol of like the modern world by, you know, like getting a job and working underneath this like atmosphere of this Western consumerism, but completely like ignoring it, basically. Like she doesn't want to just consume like her parents does. She doesn't fall for the gold. And that's like, I think that even more symbolically, more than the names getting taken away, is what is keeping all of the people working in that bathhouse, is that every single one of them, when the gold comes up, they are absolutely money hungry. And while they're all trying to get the gold is like when Chihiro is like starting to get out. Like while they're all distracted by that, she's leaving. So it's the money that is keeping them all there. Also, the names, Sen and Haku, the names are actually important. So Sen is like one of the symbols in Chihiro, like in her name, is the same symbol as Sen. So that's where it comes from. But also the word Sen means 1,000, and the word Haku means 100. So they are getting so ingrained like into this consumerism and materialism that they are literally just numbers.
That's a nice I had no idea. That's a nice little touch.
Right, yeah, if you don't know Japanese, it's hard to like they didn't call them, oh yeah, this is 1,000. You know what I mean? They didn't change the names in that way because it would have sounded dumb. Yeah. But that is what those names mean. And so like by the end of it, she has learned like to place a value on things that is not just a material value, right? Like she has no use for gold. She has no use for money, but she does have a use for like Haku, who is this river who saved her life, or her parents, even though they are like consumerist pigs at this point.
Or no name. She finds a purpose for no name.
Yeah, so
no face.
And that's what
no face?
No face. And that's what ties all of this together with like the Shinto mythology, which obviously like I'm not a fan of the Shinto mythology, but they do take a good message from it, which is everything in life has a value to it, and it is not a materialistic money value, but like a spiritual value. Like there is a value to that river that Haku is supposed to symbolize, and it is not just the money that could be made by building apartment buildings on top of it. There is like a real spiritual value to that river, and there's a value, and they extend that even to all the characters, even the characters that are pieces of shit. Like Yubaba, there is a value to Yubaba, and they sort of paint her in like a positive light at the end of the movie, because even though she's a piece of shit, there is like a value to her, and it is not just as like the boss of some company. And there's a value to all of the employees, and it's not just as an employee making money for you, Baba. They try and show that like they have like a friendly side, and they're all supporting her at the end to show that like everyone is in some way redeemable, and everything has some sort of value that you should respect. And then with that she's able to save her parents and leave with this newfound respect for like the world. And I think that also ties into the aesthetic of this movie in general. This movie kind of gives you this feeling of, like you were talking about, a lot of Western coming of age movies are about losing your innocence.
Yeah.
And I think this movie is almost more about like gaining a mysticism about the world, like gaining wonderment about the world. And that's what I mean when I say like it teaches you to like treasure everything, like it's got some sort of life in it, is that there's a mysticism to it. Like there is more to a river than just a piece of land that has water running through it.
Well, you're saying gain the mysticism. I'm saying keeping it. Kids have that already.
Well, see, I don't know about that, because that's the thing, is at the beginning of this movie, she just wants to stay in the car and not go explore the world. There is nothing exciting about the world to her. She just wants to stay home,
but
and is completely closed off.
That's her character, though.
I would agree she has
she is jaded. I'm talking kids in real life already have.
Yeah, kids have a natural wonderment at the world, but she in particular has even at a young age lost that, to an extent even more than her parents in some ways. Like her parents are at least let's go explore this cool abandoned carnival place, and she's like, no, that's not cool at all. There's nothing cool about this.
Does your fiance need a cough drop?
Yeah, maybe. but it's too late now.
It's too late now.
Yeah. But so I think that's the message of the movie, and that's what you're supposed to take away from it. And a lot of the interviews with the staff members and with Miyazaki himself seem to be that's what they were going for. And I think it comes across, and I think it is a really good movie in that way, and that it will send you to heaven, with just the asterisk that it is also in some ways a movie that feels somewhat nonsensical. If you it's very easy to watch this movie not really follow why things are happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth rewatching.
Yeah, I'd say so. So the only asterisk I'd put is that there is a small risk that you watch this movie and come away with a sort of subjective lesson rather than a concrete lesson. And what I mean by that is, again, if you compare this to a Western fairy tale, typically there's a concrete message where it's do not do this, right? Do not wander into the woods at night. You that is just a concrete message that is trying to teach. Or be careful about this kind of person. Whereas this movie is almost there's a value to everything, which is yeah, that's a good concrete message, but it's also is Yubaba a bad person or a good person? Well, she's a bad person, but there's a value to everything, so she's kind of a good person, so it's kind of subjective. You could take this a bad direction, and someone could certainly watch this movie and get sort of the Eastern philosophy, hippy-dippy, we're all just kind of a gray,
Yeah.
I think that's a risk. I don't think it's a big risk, but I think it is also a risk.
It's to some degree we are.
Sure, yeah.
We are all gray. I think the movie portrays it all as realistically gray. I mean, there's better and Yubaba does some bad stuff, but she keeps her word. She's trying to run a bathhouse and take care of a kid. She's doing a bad job with that. It's great. It is great.
I would just say it's dangerous because it can easily be taken too far. And if I'm thinking about what our society does most often, it takes that message too far instead of the opposite.
You're right. I'm around a lot of traditional minded people who tend to be assholes, but uncompassionate, uncaring assholes. But I guess as far as this general society goes, that would be a bigger problem.
it's kind of a boomer take to be like, oh, well, everybody has their problems and everybody has some redeeming thing to them, and like you shouldn't judge.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean?
there's
You can
there's
take
there's
that way
merit.
too far.
Yeah, there's merit to saying that. It's like I went to you might have been there, I don't know, but I went to at the this is years ago at a college. I went to a mass with a really great priest I like there, by the way, and he said he had his sermon was about don't be so serious all the time. God gives us joy and laughter and just that kind of thing. And for me then it was like, wow, I'm so glad someone said that. But he said that at a Novus Ordo mass, and it's like
Right. It was
a wrong audience to say that to. They already take that one too far.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I would put the asterisk on this and say, like, watch out a little bit with this one. I think if you're conscious of that, and then it's not a big problem, but if you're showing this to your kids, then just like be careful, because if you're not actively sort of looking at what your kids are consuming, then they're already consuming too much of that message. You know, but if on the other hand you are really paying attention to what they're consuming, they might not be consuming that message much at all, and this little bit of it is enough to get you to that perfect mean. You know.
So what's your verdict, heaven or hell?
My verdict would be that it would send you to heaven, for sure. And I think it's. But another asterisk I would point out is that there are weird Eastern sort of magical elements to this that are another thing you should watch out for. I see there's an alarm.
What is the whole remote thing without having a dedicated room for this?
It's not.
It's not. It's okay. Michael will get over it soon. Yeah, like I guess it's important to tell kids rivers don't actually have spirits. I mean, we can say spirit of the river in sort of a vague sense, but they don't. There's not actually.
I would say even more than that is that so. Like, for instance, there's also like weird cultural magic stuff of like when she makes like a circle with her hands, and then the other guy chops through it, and that's supposed to like dispel the evil that she had gotten by stepping on like a cursed object. It's like all of that. I mean, a kid will watch this movie, and especially if this is a movie they saw a lot when they were a kid, they're gonna start doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a concern as well, and I think it's also a concern in a way that isn't what you wouldn't get the same thing with Western sort of fairy tales and stuff, because with like a Western fairy tale they have like usually a concrete message, and the mystical or magic elements are very clear symbols, so you can explain that to your kid and then they won't be so tempted to do the weird magical stuff. And an example would be like, okay, werewolves, right? If your kid starts thinking that like he wants to be a werewolf and he's like howling at the moon and shit, you can explain to him like, hey, the story of werewolves in like folklore is about like the primal, like the beast inside of all of us, and how that can sometimes come out and like take over our higher faculties, or like a vampire, you know. If your kid for some reason is like trying to suck people's blood or something, it's like no, you don't understand. Vampires don't actually exist. That's just a very apt symbol of a certain sort of like elite in society who drains the rest of society and is associated with a lot of these things. Like they're usually very rich. They usually prey after young women. They suck out their essence and then leave them as like dry husks. And it's like, but like those are all like a lot of things about vampires very accurate, but vampires themselves in that way don't exist. But with this, when you're working with like a Japanese medium, you know, maybe there is some sort of real symbol that making a circle and chopping through it, maybe that's a really good symbol of something, but I can't explain that to my kid because I don't know what the fuck it is, you know?
I can. And I thought about this because my kids are going to watch Spirited Away. I think it's good.
Okay.
It's just, this is a Japanese movie. It's just like saying bless you when someone sneezes.
Well, but saying bless
how
you
I
when
would
someone
say it.
sneezes, that's not true, because saying bless you is a real, like, that comes from the plague, and they would say bless you because they thought you were going to die from the plague.
Yeah, but no one
and,
thinks
like,
you're going to die
bless
when
you
you
is a
sneeze.
real, you should not compare a real Catholic like culture saying bless you to a pagan culture doing a weird like ceremonial thing, because you don't want your kids thinking those are the same.
I don't know. It's a Japanese thing.
If you weren't
it's a Japanese thing.
If you weren't Catholic, that's a great analogy. You being Catholic means that is the worst analogy you could possibly make. You know what I mean?
It's just a culture. You just say this was made in a faraway land, and that is similar to how we say bless you.
I wouldn't go that far. I would not make the comparison between those two things. I would. The first part of what you say is reasonable, but I would not make the comparison between those two things. For sure. Because then that equalizes them. And again, that's something we have a problem with in modern society, is like, oh, it's all the same. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not the same. Like bless you is based off of Catholicism, and this weird voodoo shit is based off of paganism, you know? That is a big difference.
Yeah, but similar sentiments.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a similar sentiment.
Ours is real, and theirs is not.
Right, yeah, but sure, it's a similar sentiment.
The sentiment in both is just as real.
Well, okay, all right. I think you can go too far with that.
Yeah,
but,
well, I'm sorry you're a racist.
You don't like anime just because it's Japanese.
That's not why.
You are the epitome of the like boomer right now, and that includes you being unaware of your racism. Me, on the other hand, am very aware
of your racism.
Of my racism.
So, the whole
West is best.
The whole river spirit thing, you
Mm-hmm.
know where it comes in all gunked up.
Yeah.
I want to watch. I'm gonna probably rewatch a lot of Miyazaki stuff, because my wife likes Miyazaki a lot, and she was saying that Mia Wifey likes Miyazaki.
Stop.
She likes it a lot, and she was saying that in a lot of Miyazaki stuff, there's a motif of things getting gunked up.
I think he has some environmental messages.
Yeah,
and like I said, I think that is like the sort of sin that has angered the spirits that like brings all this whole plot line forward. That and consumerism.
Well,
that's kind of what leads to.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I was watching an interview with Miyazaki that came with the DVD, which is hosted by the guy who does the voice of Haku, who is the only voice in the movie that I do not like. It's just take it down a notch, buddy. It is just so much.
Okay.
So Miyazaki was talking about the river spirit and how, she pulls out a bike.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he said that's actually based on a real thing. I went to clean a river in my hometown, and we found a bike, and we had to pull it out. So that is why the river spirit is in the movie. And it's like,
yeah, that makes sense.
But it's like, oh, that's why. That's because you found a bike in a river.
Well, it's also like it shows. I mean, I think that reinforces that there's an environmental message to this movie.
No, it does.
He cares enough about the environment to clean his local river.
Okay, you're missing what I think is funny.
that he is in that entire plot point is based on him finding a bike in a river.
Yeah, like, I don't know if it was the editor who like cut out way more,
the translator maybe
of what he said, but what he said word for word in the thing is because that's in there because I found a bike in a river.
Yeah, that entire plot point, I found a bike in a river.
And it's like, wow, I thought this movie was really good before.
I thought it was real deep, but now I know he found a bike in a river.
Yeah. Well, this has been a weird episode. It's weird not being in the same place.
It is, really. We should never do it again.
I feel like if you saw my eyes, you would know that I thought this was very funny. But instead you're like, oh, yes, very interesting point. That reinforces what... And it's like, no, dude, this guy found a bike.
Yeah.
You're thinking too much. But yeah, hopefully, if maybe for the next episode I have COVID, we'd be in person again because you already got it. You're good.
Yeah, I can't catch it again. So
yeah, so we actually should be completely good.
It's not like I got the vaccine and I can catch it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, exactly. You need the update to the vaccine so your heart.
Yeah, what is Israel on now? Like 4 boosters?
I
5?
think they just announced the 5th.
That's so funny. And they have like more cases than anyone.
Israel's
If
all
the virus even exists.
Israel's all about high numbers. They got like a thing about numbers being high.
That is quite a strange anti-Semitic joke we're making here. Holocaust joke.
So patreon.com/willitsendmetohell. PayPal.me/willitsendmetohell. willitsendmetohell@gmail.com. These are the main links you should be clicking on in your day-to-day life.
Every day you should be checking. Did I remember to send them money? Oh, I did. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
well, I'll send them another couple of bucks.
And hey, look, I know how it is with podcasts. You're probably driving right now or doing dishes, but maybe you're not. And if you're not, just do it right now. You probably have listened. You say, you know what? I should send him $5. I should send him $10. I should send him $25. Do it now. You're gonna forget. Just do it now, and you're gonna feel good when you do it. You feel good when you donate to stuff that improves your life.
I still feel good spending $5 a month on Sam Hyde.
Yeah, you know, I send. Yeah, I'm for the Chris Chan documentary. You know what? Today, I'm gonna subscribe to Geno Samuel's Patreon.
I should send him some money.
I should send him
I've
some
listened
money.
to the entire thing, and now I'm rewatching it again with my fiance.
Yes,
so.
his Chris Chan documentary is fantastic. I should send him.
Does he have a PayPal? I can just send him a chunk of change.
I probably, yeah. He's probably got his links. PayPal.me/Geno Samuel 2.1. I bet you that's.
You
probably
should send
what it
me
is.
money so I can send other people money.
Yeah. You should send me money because you might not have seen this, Michael. I took some pictures of Michael today. He didn't know about it. But I crashed my car a little bit.
Really?
When we were, it's just a little bit. When we were driving on that very snowy road, my passenger side wheel, I guess I was like a little bit too far to the right where the snow got a little deep, and my tire just kind of caught it a little bit, and I went right into a snowbank. I plowed right through it, but I cracked my bumper cover just a little bit. It doesn't look for it. I might be able to pop it back into place, but it's still going to be cracked.
Oh, that's brutal, dude.
Yeah, I could probably.
The snow wasn't even that bad.
No, it wasn't.
That sucks.
I'm new to driving in snow. I don't know.
Sure.
I could probably replace it myself, like to do the work myself. But a new bumper cover is like $280.
Ooh.
So if you guys want to help me out with my car, it's cosmetic. It's not the biggest deal in the world. But it sucks. I just fucking bought that car.
Yeah.
But so I'm all bummed out about that. I'm super sad.
That sucks.
Actually, I'm really embarrassed. I shouldn't have even said that. I feel like such a fucking moron. I drive for a living. Dude. I shouldn't be doing that. Groundhog Day. Watch Groundhog Day. The next episode is coming out on Groundhog Day. If you're lucky, you'll get to listen to it for the first time for the rest of your life.
Hey, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
It's like the radio show in Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Will Summit Hill Pod. And then you just wake up and I'm here again.
I know everything there is to know. I have memorized this podcast on Groundhog Day.
Well, thanks for listening. Anything you wanted to add at the end, Michael?
No, I think that I have nothing else, dude.
Thanks for listening. We'll be in person again next time. So look forward to that.
Thankfully.
All right.
God bless.
Bye.